So today we're exposing Africa's New World Order agenda. So stay tuned. And for those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Tim Ford Jr. This is my wife, Siobhan Ford, and we help our people invest, rebuild, and return to the motherland of Africa. Today, we are going to be exposing the New World Order agenda of Africa over here, you guys. We're used to hearing of the Western agenda that's been pushed in our face and what the West plans to do with their Agenda 2030 and everything. And, we came across the information of Africa's New World Order agenda. So, we want to talk about the agenda that we came across and talk about some of the key points and the highlights of what we've seen. And, we want to get right to the point.
Yeah, so like he mentioned, we all know that the West has their agenda, which is, we're quite familiar with it. It's called Agenda 2030. And basically, it's their plan to basically put the entire world into their system, their new world order, their mark of the beast, their systems of control. And so if we don't want to be a part of their agenda, their nefarious plans that they have for us, especially as melanated people, because we know that the worst of their plans they have for us as melanated peoples, then we have to build our own agenda, rebuild our own agenda, invest in our own agenda, finance our own agenda. And so today we're going to be talking about what can melanated people look forward to? What agenda is there for people of African descent? What can we do to find ourselves outside of their system, outside of their rules of law, outside of their governance? Because we know from the scriptures that the mark of the beast is a financial system, because it says that you won't be able to buy, trade, or sell if you're not part of their system. And we see that this system is just taking life and growing and gaining more momentum every day. We got the digital dollar, the central banks, CBDCs. We have them trying to roll out the digital currency. In some places, they've already rolled it out. We have social credit systems. We see that cash is being outlawed and slowly phased out all around the world. And then we see the form of the BRICS nations, a whole nother system of governance. So it's like, if you're not going to be pulled into either one of those systems, into the Western system 2030 or the Eastern system, which is the BRICS conglomerate, we have to form our own agenda. We have to support our own agenda and initiatives that are already been brought forth. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Agenda 2063.
Yes, so many of us don't know and understand that just because we don't hear about things that's going on over here, do not mean that things aren't going on. Like when we came across this document, this information, we were like, bro, like they had this planned out the entire time.
Yeah.
We just didn't know what they were planning. The fact that, it's mind blowing to know that, okay, they've actually thought about this to all the way to 2063. We've been taught and brainwashed to think that they're not even thinking on that level, and they're way beyond what we could even imagine.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's not a good thing necessarily, but they have their own plan.
Exactly. So yeah, it was an honor to come across the information. And when I was reading, she brought it to me first, and I was like, wow, this is actually like amazing information. We definitely need to talk about this and definitely support this 100%. So yeah, we want to talk about some of the things that we came across in the agenda that's behind Agenda 2063 for Africa. So yeah, come on, y'all, let's go.
Let's explore Africa's New World Order agenda. So Agenda 2063 is also known as the Africa We Want. So Agenda 2063 is Africa's blueprint and master plan for transforming Africa into the global powerhouse of the future. It is the continent's strategic framework that aims to deliver on this goal for inclusive and sustainable development, and is a concrete manifestation of the Pan-African drive for unity, self-determination, freedom, progress, and collective prosperity pursued under Pan-Africanism and African Renaissance. The genesis of Agenda 2063 was a realization by African leaders that there was a need to refocus and reprioritize Africa's agenda from the struggle against apartheid, so basically kicking out the colonizers when there was a revolution throughout the continent in the 60s. And they so-called kicked the colonizers out, but we know that they never really left. Now there's just another form of colonialism called neo-colonialism, but we're not going to get into that right now.
Not in this video.
But basically, they've realized that they needed to switch the struggle over from apartheid and the attainment of political independence for the continent, which had been the previous focus of the Organization of African Unity, which is basically the organization that came before the African Union. And now they realize that we need to prioritize inclusive social and economic development, continental and regional integration, and peace and security amongst other issues.
So, in an effort for the people of the African continent to put those things into place and to achieve what they set out to achieve, they've implemented a few sets of flagship projects that they have in place, to where they plan to develop and put things in place to orchestrate and implement this new change that they're trying to bring into place over here. Not only do they have a few set of flagship projects, they also have a clear set of goals that they set out to reach, because we all know that you cannot reach or obtain anything without a clear set of goals.
So one of the first goals and priority areas is decolonization, as I mentioned a little bit earlier in the video. It's one of my favorite topics. So basically, this goal is that all remnants of colonialism be ended and all African territories under occupation fully be liberated. We see the manifestation and the fulfillment of this already in what's going on in West Africa. You had coups all throughout West Africa. They kicked out France. Mm-hmm. France is out of there. It was Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Mali. Even if they didn't actually have a coup, they were still supporting the countries that did have the coup.
Loud and proud.
Yeah, and kicking France and the other colonizers out. So this agenda is already in the works. And if you haven't already, check out our video, Africa Kicks Out the Colonizers, where we talk about what actually happened in West Africa a few months ago with them kicking out France. There's nothing bad to say about that. Like decolonization, like yes, all of y'all colonizers need to go, and all countries that are still under occupation or under strings or economically suppressed or whatever it is that's going on, things that's going on in Congo, none of that stuff should be happening. And so I believe the revolution will continue throughout the continent. It started in West Africa, and it's going to just continue throughout the continent.
It's going to be a wave, because it's time.
Yeah.
It's time. We're not going to continue to sit and deal with this type of treatment. And we know the way that the world operates now. So, we can definitely create some good deals and definitely create some nice structures once we get this thing put in place properly for the African people to be able to benefit properly. So yeah, it's time for decolonization on a whole nother level. And they know it too. The second goal that's set into place, which is to piggyback right off of decolonization, is to have a united Africa. The goal is to have Pan-Africanism, continental unity, resiliency, and put Africa into the position to be a global player in the world of doing things and putting things in place. So with the same mindset of getting decolonization off the continent, the second goal that's set in place is to make sure that we all unify and make sure that we understand that we cannot get back into that same situation again, and have the unity to fight that off and fight colonialization off from coming ever again.
Yeah, and this also ties into the prophecy of Ezekiel 37 of the dry bones coming together, of the diaspora returning back to Africa, and the continental Africans who are already here, and us uniting and becoming basically a global player, a force to be reckoned with, getting back into our rightful positions that we were in as the rulers and the shakers and the chosen ones of this earth before we betrayed God and got cursed, and now enslaved, and now we're coming back to our rightful position. So I'm all for it.
Man, awake from your sleep and slumber and assume your position, assume your birthright. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
The third goal is a high standard of living, quality of life, and well-being for all citizens, because as we know, Africa is considered a third world. I hate that term. By the so-called developed or first world nations, but it's because of what they've done. But if you do go to a lot of parts of rural Africa, they are living in very, very impoverished conditions. A lot of them don't have electricity. They don't have running water. Their houses are not done. They're living in half-done houses where it rains on them. A lot of them can't afford school fees. So like just basic necessities, a lot of them have to do without. And that should not be the case with a continent that's as rich as this continent is.
And the fourth goal is well-educated citizens and skills revolution underpinned by science, technology, and innovation. Anybody that has ever met an African in the United States of America, I know for a fact you guys have a different work ethic. When a lot of the African people made it to America with their opportunity at success and their opportunity at being able to build something, they took full advantage and was able to work hard and actually achieve a lot of the American dreams over there. So they thought. Just imagine once this is put in place and the citizens are well educated and know the value of what's here and know the value of what's around them, they'll be able to build over here and we'll be able to build together and make Africa the superpower that is destined to be.
Yeah, and not even just the Africans who came and they so-called tapped into the American dream. All of us, Africans, came 400 years ago and built up America from scratch and built up a lot of these Western nations, Europe, the islands. Our ancestors built these countries into so-called developed or first world nations. So there's no reason why the children of those people can't do the same thing. Healthy and well-nourished citizens, that goes without saying. Unfortunately, some of the people in Africa are malnourished, and it's simply because a lot of them can't afford to buy a variety of different foods, or in their region maybe there's only a certain type of crop that they know how to grow, and so a lot of them may experience nutritional deficiencies by only relying on like maybe one or two different main sources of food. And we know as humans we are supposed to eat a wide variety of different plants and have different nutrients and minerals in our diet. So once again, with Africa being the richest continent, there's no reason why anyone here should be malnourished. So that's also a great initiative as well.
The next goal that's put in place is transform economies. There's a goal and plan put in place to actually transform the things that's here right now and put them into a position where they're beneficial to everyone involved. We all know we run into different circumstances and different situations because of the economies that's put in place here. So, that's something another thing that we won't have to worry about in the near future if we just focus and look into the future.
The next one is modern agriculture for increased productivity and production. This agriculture is hands down one of the best sectors to get into in Africa. This is actually something that we talk about on our Investors Roundtable, which actually we'll be having another one coming up December 17th. So if you're interested in investing in agriculture, real estate, or tourism, definitely tap in, because agriculture is going to be the one place where you're guaranteed to make a lot of money and be able to build that generational wealth. So basically they're trying to move towards modern agriculture for increased productivity and production, because the way the world is going, by the year 2050, there won't be enough food to feed the entire world. So that means that right now we need to be increasing agricultural production and fine-tuning our systems, modernizing our systems, keeping what's good from the old and bringing in what's good from the new and merging them together so that we can have more productivity in the agricultural sector so that we can feed ourselves first and foremost and also feed the world. The next up is blue ocean economy for accelerated economic growth, and that's basically tapping into the sectors that deal with water, whether that be dealing with using water for energy production, fish farming, anything that you can think of that utilizes the ocean or the bodies of water, utilizing that to be a factor for economic growth throughout the continent.
And the next goal is world-class infrastructure, crisscrossing Africa and connecting Africa. So I know there's already a highway put in place connecting South Africa all the way to Egypt. So if someone actually wanted to drive from South Africa to Egypt, there's actually a highway that's already put in place. So they're actually planning to put a few of those in place that will be able to connect all of Africa together.
And this will benefit us to be able to move goods around, to trade more easily, to visit each other more easily, to interconnect, and to basically expand and become that global player that we all want. The next goal is a stable and peaceful Africa. That's self-explanatory. We know a lot of these so-called fighting and genocides that's been going on in Africa has actually been funded by the West. They pay different rebel groups and different so-called terrorist organizations to keep regions destabilized so that they can siphon off the resources and so that they can control the leaders to basically have their agenda and their will throughout the earth and have their different military bases. And basically they just have their hands all in Africa and throughout the world to try to maintain some sort of level of control. But all of that, people are waking up to their tactics and their strategies, and so now we're better able to fight and thwart off the attacks from the enemy as far as keeping Africa destabilized.
The next goal that they have in place is engaged in an empowered youth and full gender equality. So they're actually planning and implementing things to engage the youth and actually teach them skills that will help them to become productive people in the society. So I know, unfortunately, where we come from, they sort of shun the children and don't focus and put their all into making sure that the children are being catered to and loved properly. So it's good to know that they actually have a goal in place that's actually catered towards the children and implement and teaching them the skills that's needed to come into society.
Yeah, I know in Tanzania they have different women empowerment organizations where they go into different villages and things and take some of the younger and older women and children and teach them like different skill sets and trades, like maybe like how to farm a certain type of way that'll increase their productivity, how to make different products, how to label products, like things that they're already growing. You know, they teach them how to turn them into value-added products that they can sell on the market to put money into their pockets and their children's futures, and just basically like be more productive members of society and be able to contribute in a more meaningful way.
The next goal that they have in place is for Africa to take full responsibility for financing her development. They want it to be people driven with all citizens involved. So the goal is to actually implement a plan of action where every African person is involved in implementing and taking full responsibility of the development of us coming together and moving forward as a continent. We actually saw this being implemented in Rwanda. They have like a special day of the month where everyone goes outside and clean up for their day. No one works, no one does anything in the entire country but clean up and make sure that their area around their house is clean. And by Kagame implementing that in the country of Rwanda, Rwanda has come into the place of being the so-called cleanest country within the continent of Africa. So just imagine if all of the continent got on the same page with just one thing on one day, continent-wide. Just imagine what that would change and do.
Yeah, and a lot of countries need to implement that, what Rwanda has done, because I see piles of trash like in a lot of different videos. And even in our neighborhoods, there's like piles of trash around. Yeah. And you know that contributes to diseases and rodents, which lead to diseases and plagues and things of that nature. And also, it just doesn't look good. Like if you want to have a tourism increase, and one of the things that will help to increase tourism is the cleanliness of the country, especially like the beach areas. And that's something that they've implemented in Tanzania. There's a beach here called Cocoa Beach. And when we first came here, Cocoa Beach, there was like just like a lot of trash that had filtered in from, you know, the ocean, that it brings in trash and things. So there would be like a lot of trash just littering the beach. And now they've completely transformed that area. They have like designated trash areas where you can throw your trash away. They have like restaurants lining the beach and like lights, and they even have like signs that say like help, you know, basically keep this area clean and things of that nature. So those are all like great initiatives to increase tourism and to just increase the local economies. The last goal is cultural renaissance, which is, I love that. It's just basically embodying the spirit of Pan-Africanism by tapping into Africa's rich heritage and rich culture to ensure that the creative arts are major contributors to Africa's growth and transformation. We all know about Africa's history. Like Africa's history goes back thousands of years, and it's a rich history full of different traditions, different styles of clothing, different ways of healing, and different ways for you to do your hair and just make art. It's just such a rich culture and heritage. And so really tapping into, and even like the landscape itself, there's a lot of UNESCO World Heritage sites, especially in Tanzania. There's quite a few here, which are basically UNESCO World Heritage sites are basically areas throughout the world that they designate are of historical and cultural significance. So just preserving those bodies and using them as points as tourism, to garner in tourism and to basically like disseminate to everybody like the rich history of Africa, which has been suppressed, and a lot of the art and things of Africa has been stolen and taken to Europe to build up Europe. Europe is making like billions of dollars each year off of stolen African art. So there definitely does need to be a renaissance in the art sector and in the overall cultural heritage sector of Africa.
Africa's culture and Africa's design has been influencing the world this entire time, and we didn't even know it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Louis Vuitton's symbol,
Fendi, Gucci,
a,
a lot of
a
them.
lot of them symbols were stolen from Africa.
Yeah, a
Just
lot
do
of those
some research.
patterns and things that we love so much. It's African.
Yeah.
That's why we love it.
Right? It's connecting to our roots.
I used to love me a good Louis bag back in my day.
Since we're here, gotta show y'all some of the products real quick.
This natural body baby. Natural body.
Yeah. Natural product.
Natural body.
Yeah.
Natural body.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah. Come closer. Come. Busy Beachy.
Karibu.
One of the first projects that they're working on is the high-speed train project. The project aims to connect all African capitals through a high-speed train, facilitating the movement of goods, factory services, and people. This project is envisioned to connect all of the capitals within all 54 countries through one train system that will be able to connect intercontinental trading and be able to move people around and be able to connect so many different things.
Next up on the list of flagship projects that they are working on is the Africa Free Trade Agreement. Now, we talked about this in some of our other videos, but basically the aim of this project is to accelerate intra-African trade and boost Africa's trading position in the global marketplace. This trade agreement aims to significantly accelerate growth of intercontinental trade and use trade more effectively as an engine of social and economic growth and sustainable development. So this Africa Free Trade Agreement is going to be so beneficial when it actually comes into fruition, because right now trying to like ship and export stuff around the continent is a huge hassle. You have to pay a lot of money. You got to pay at the border. You're getting bribed along the way. So this is definitely going to help facilitate the movement of goods and make it a lot easier and affordable. And that translates into more money for us to rebuild the continent and to rebuild our generations and leave legacy for our children. Yeah. So I love that, and I'm so excited and looking forward to the fruition of that.
Mm-hmm. And with the growth of the population here on the continent of Africa, with more and more people rising up within themselves and rising up to be able to purchase things and level up in life and have connection to the outside world, they will be more prone to look at businesses that's already established. So this is a great opportunity for the people who are looking to start something and be in a good position at the beginning of something, because once all of the doors begin to open up and everything begins to trade smoothly amongst one another, then they will be going to people who've been at it the longest and the experts in the game. So this is an ample opportunity for those who are thinking about getting in position to get into position. The next flagship project that they have in place is the African Passport and Free Movement of People. The project aim is to remove restrictions on Africans' ability to travel, work, and live within their own continent. The initiative aims to transform Africa's laws, which remain generally restrictive on movement of people. Many of us have had the unfortunate circumstances of dealing with things at immigration and having to deal with visa issues, but we see that there's plans and talks being done to work on it, and other countries have already implemented some of the things that's being done and talked about within this flagship project
like
right now.
Rwanda and Kenya, Ghana, South Africa, Benin, Togo, and some other ones I can't think off the top of my head.
Yep. Yeah. And it's no coincidence that Rwanda is one of the first countries to actually implement something that's inviting all Africans, because President Paul Kagame, who's the president of Rwanda, he's actually the current president of the African Union, and he's the one who's implementing things and putting flagship projects in place right now to facilitate the movement of this. So it's no coincidence that Rwanda was one of the first ones.
Yeah, and it's an amazing day to see the undoing of the Berlin Conference, because we know that all of these different countries and different borders are a construct of European colonialism, of rape, torture, genocide. and displacement of millions of people. So a lot of people we see in the comments, people be fighting to uphold like Africa is a continent where there's different tribes and nations of people with different languages and different cultures. We understand that, but what we're saying is these countries as they are now, Nigeria, Tanzania, these names, even the names were given to a lot of these countries by Europeans. Yep. These are not even the original names of the countries. These are not the original borders. Having to go and pay money to get into a country just 5 minutes up the road is ridiculous, you know. And so it is something that needs to be changed. A lot of people get bribed at the borders to simply try to get in from one African brother to the next. If we claim we all Africans, we know it's a different country with different tribes, but at the end of the day, we're all Africans, and that's our common ground. So I'm happy that they're planning on doing away with visas, and perhaps one day we can get rid of the borders too, the colonial borders, because like you said, this is a construct of European colonialism. So the next flagship project is the implementation of the Grand Inga Dam project. And this dam is basically expected to generate 43,200 megawatts of power, which is supposed to support current regional power pools. And they're basically going to combine services to transform the entire continent from traditional sources of energy to modern sources of energy to ensure access of all Africans to clean and affordable electricity. So this is another great thing, because if anyone who's ever been to the continent knows, the power outages are a thing, the real thing. Like, man, it happens frequently. And unless you have like backup power, like a generator or solar power, you're pretty much at the mercy of the power company and whatever infrastructure the country has in place, whether it's like wind energy, water energy, electricity, whatever they use, is subject to go in and out because of the underdevelopment and what the effects of colonialism. So them putting these dam projects in place are going to be really good for making sure that everyone has access to energy. Yeah. Because there's no reason why Africa should be in the dark, and so-called developed nations, in America, the power will never went out unless you didn't pay the bill or unless there was like a bad storm. Other than that, like, power outages were not a thing. So there's no reason why Africa, who supplies the entire world with the raw materials to generate and make energy, should be in the dark.
Yeah. The next flagship project that they have in place is the Pan-African E-Network. The aim of this project is to put in place policies and strategies that will lead to transformative e-application and services in Africa, especially the intra-African broadband terrestrial infrastructure and cybersecurity, making the information revolution the basis for service delivery in the bio and nanotechnology industries, and ultimately transform Africa into an e-society. So basically, this project is aiming to put everyone that's on the continent of Africa into the internet. Basically, making sure that everyone is connected to the network and having access to what's available and having access to the things that's here on the continent of Africa, especially within the continent of Africa.
Yeah, because as many of us who are on the continent can attest to, a lot of different things like applications that you have to apply for previously were done, like you have to go into the office and like fill it out by hand, and so things could get lost, things weren't really efficient, and so a lot of the systems are switching over to electronic. Even here in Tanzania, a lot of the immigration systems, permits and things, you can apply for online, where previously you couldn't do that. So that's going to make like immigration and policies and businesses registration and all that menial things that people don't want to think about, that's so important. It's going to make that stuff a lot more easy and a lot more efficient. So, and it also is going to cut down on bribes, because if you can just go online and do it, that saves you having to go to the office, and then who knows what can happen sometimes when you go to different places.
Was definitely going to help and make things move a lot smoother for those who are wondering. We get this question all the time. How is the infrastructure? How is the internet? How are the services? We're doing things online. As you see, there's a plan and an agenda in place to make sure that things are working properly and functioning. We like to tell people, like, when you come to certain African countries, depending on which one you go to and which area you go to, it's like sort of going into the past. You would have to Go and help build something. Go, if you see a need, have the mindset of trying to provide that need and see how that need can be put into the infrastructure. Because some things that we are used to and accustomed to is just not here yet. But we have the ability to build it and put the right things in place so that we can have those things.
And they're also doing it as well. The countries and governments themselves are actually putting these different policies and things in place. But we know the government can't do everything. The people also have to take initiative and help and move these policies and agendas forward.
Yeah.
So, guys, we told you guys about the different goals and aspirations that this Agenda 2063 strives to implement and strives to embody. We told you about the different projects and infrastructural projects that they have in place. And that is just some of them. It's not an extensive list. So definitely go on the website and read and check into it for yourself. Tap in. If you heard any of these projects that's piqued your interest and you want to invest in any of these projects or help support these projects, definitely tap in. They have a website where they want people to leave their email addresses with their skill sets and things so that everyone, because again, one of the initiatives is that this is citizen driven, so everyone can tap in from wherever you are around the world. You don't have to necessarily be on the continent to support this. So the builders are already in Africa, so it's imperative that we all tap into the people that are already here that have initiatives and agendas that are doing the work already. So whether it's the African Union and the agenda that we brought forth, or whether it's other people, individuals who have been sent to build, such as ourselves. There's other people in Ghana. There's people in Senegal. There's people in the Gambia. There's people all around the continent who are building communities, who are leading people to be able to invest in the continent, to buy real estate in the continent from America or wherever you are in the world. So tap in. With that being said, if you're interested in tapping into Agenda 2063 and tapping into rebuilding, returning, or investing in Africa, we have Investors Roundtable coming up December 17th. In this roundtable, we will talk about being able to buy land, invest, purchase real estate, invest in infrastructure, tourism, and agriculture in Tanzania, East Africa. So if you're interested in that, definitely tap in. We had a lot of people who've already taken advantage of the opportunity and they've been able to get land and also invest in some of these other different ventures.
Yes, from our other investors roundtables that we've had the privilege of being able to help so many other families get connected and get land and get put their money into a good position to get residual income. So man, it's an honor to be on the ground and be able to have eyes and see what is really going on and what's possible over here. It's not just talk. It's not just, as you see, there's a whole agenda. There's a whole plan for the continent to be a superpower. So it's best that you put yourself into a position and put your family in a position where you guys are able to take advantage of what's coming on the horizon.
Yeah.
Like my wife mentioned in the beginning, if you don't select an agenda to be a part of, if you don't create an agenda to be a part of, if you don't join something to be a part of that's pushing you and your family forward, something would be assigned to you and you would just choose the default place or area that you're in. So if you are afraid of stepping out of your comfort zone and looking into Africa because of what we've been taught, stop before it's too late and you be stuck in Agenda 2030. And you see, this is Agenda 2063. This is way past 30. They thinking way beyond 2030. So y'all listen, we have to take advantage of these opportunities. We are free to remove the scales off of our eyes now. But we just have to make the choice and make the decision to accept the reality for what it is and know that we can build something ourselves. We are free to do that. We don't have to keep operating in fear and letting the lies of the past rule our judgment and rule the way that we do what we do. So, if you're interested in doing something on the continent of Africa, it's wide open. There's opportunities, there's space. Like my wife said, if you're interested in joining us for our next Investors Roundtable, tap in. We will be giving great information and great opportunity for our people to elevate.
So yeah, make sure you guys tap into Agenda 2063 because this agenda began in 2013 and they've got it broken down into a series of 10-year strategic plans where each 10 years they've set out to achieve a certain set of those goals that have been laid out. So as we see, they have been actually working towards a lot of those goals, especially with like the visas and the decolonization. So all praises to the Most High.
Yes.
What a time to be alive. This is a beautiful time to be alive. I want you guys to take advantage of the opportunities that are presented before us. Take advantage of the people that the Most High has put in place to usher people back into the continent, to help people to return to our homeland, because I don't want to be the bearer of bad news or seem like it's doom and gloom, or that I want you to invest with me. I don't care who you invest with. I just want you to invest in Africa. It doesn't have to be us. I would love to have you. I'm happy to have whoever the Most High has assigned to us, but this is not just for us to get investors or to sell our agenda. This is the Most High's agenda to bring his people back home. And for those who have eyes to see, you know what's going on. For those who have ears to hear, you know what time it is. So the writing is on the wall. There's war going on in the Middle East right now. There's war going on in Ukraine. There's about to be war going on in China, all around the world. So we all have to get to a place of safety. We have to put our money in a place of safety, and we have to set our generations up for safety.
Right. Right.
So with that being said, that's the end of the video. If you're interested in making a move to Africa, we offer repatriation consultations. Well, basically, we will answer your questions and help you to have a smoother transition to the motherland.
We will sit down with you and answer all your questions specifically to help you with your specific needs. So if you and your family want to come over here and do whatever you guys want to do, you can have the time to sit with us on the phone for a whole hour. We will help you out all the way through. So, all right, hit us up if you need that. And also, my wife is a licensed herbal practitioner and a student midwife. So she offers all natural herbal consultation. She has the mindset and the brains to be able to help people recover from so many different ailments and things that we deal with as a people. So if you're interested in figuring out how to overcome some things naturally, the natural way, my wife offers all natural herbal consultation. So if you're interested in getting that done and getting your recovery done from the inside out, hit up my wife and get a consultation. All right.
And also, the herbal course is open now too. So if you're interested in becoming trained and certified to be an herbalist, to learn how to heal people and to make herbal products, and to open up a FDA GMP compliant herbal business in your area, definitely sign up for the course. It's online. It's a 6-month course. Definitely tap in. It's a great course. I'm not just saying that because I'm the owner of it, but it really is a good course. So definitely take advantage of that. Also, if you're planning to either move or visit Africa in the near future, definitely check out our Repat Travel Survival Kit, where it's basically a list of items that we think that you should bring with you in your suitcase to kind of make your transition a little bit easier to the continent.
So if you made it to the end of the video and you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, I don't know what's going on with you. Go ahead and hit the button so you can stay tuned to the journey and continue to show love. And if you've been with us the entire journey, thank you for showing love the entire way. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the well wishes. We appreciate the donations. We don't take it for granted that you guys are showing us love and you like and support the content that we're producing, and we're able to bring you guys value. So we thank you for giving us your attention, and we're eternally grateful that we're able to bring you guys value. So hey, thank y'all for the love and thank y'all for the support always. Asante sana.
Asante.
Yes, so hey, if you made it to the end of the video, congratulations. You are wise and you will do some great things in life because you just got some great information about this agenda that's being pushed forth, and you will be in the position to where you can help push this agenda forward if you just take a step in the right direction. So hey, stay encouraged, stay focused, and don't allow these people to stop your shine. All right.
And share this video with somebody that you think could benefit from this information, or that will find this information helpful or useful.
All right. So y'all stay safe out there and keep the shalom peace. Shalom.